Shout out to Marco Petrana, Alfredo Jr., Nova Brown, AMG, Dan Real, and Amada Alcusa for being a part of our channel memberships. Welcome back, Gaming with King family, to another F1 Clash video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about tunes. Alright, we're going to be looking at 4 different type of tunes you can use in F1 Clash. Is it 4 or is it 3? Let me check. So you have the fast speed time, you have a balance setup, you have the power level setup, and you have the hybrid setup. Alright, so we'll be going through all 4 of these setups, how you can get them, the concept you want to use to get these setups. But before we jump into that, remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and also remember to smash that like button. Let's see if we can get this video above 100 likes. Really appreciate you guys for all your support. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at setup. So we're going to start off with the fast speed time setup, which is the setup I currently use. It has been broken recently, but it has been fixed and it has been back on track better than ever. So this is a fast speed time setup. Alright, so fast speed time setup is what we use for duels. The reason why I use fast speed time setup for duels is because you're going to be using your best drivers with your fast speed time setup. All right, so it will be like you have 60 on driver, and then the fast speed time setup is going to be like a 20 on car. All right, so you're going to be matched with other players who has 60 on drivers and a 20 on car. So that will be the overall score, like 80. So you're going to be matched with players in that 80 range, but you are not at the 80 range level. so you're going to be basically matching with easier rivals whenever you use the fast speed time setup. All right, most of the time your rivals are going to be on a high pit time car, so most of the time you're going to qualify. They're going to qualify in front most of the time, but if they qualify in 18, you're going to be like in 17, and no, if they qualify in 17, you're going to be in like 18, 19, and then they'll be like in 20. But you're going to be nice and close to them, and once you keep that distance nice and close to them to go around, by the time you go to pit, you're going to be in and out of the pits, and they'll be stuck in the pits, as you'll be gaining a huge amount of time in the pits. All right, so that's basically the fast pit time setup. All right, now the next setup on the list is going to be the hybrid setup. A hybrid setup is a version of the fast speed time setup that you can use in your duels. If you're qualifying in the events with a power level tune, this one is for the lower level guys. Normally uses a hybrid setup. If you're qualifying in the events and you're qualifying in the back of the event, it's best to use either a hybrid setup or still use your fast pit time setup. All right, if you're qualifying in the back, because you're already qualifying in the back, so you're not going to gain anything from not using a fast pit time setup. All right, so it's best to gain as you go into the pits. You'll gain some positions and make up some places instead of you're still stuck in the back. All right, now, so hybrid setup is basically a setup of performance with fast speed time. So normally what you want to do to get your hybrid setup is to go for your fast speed time setup, find your fastest speed time setup, and then you want to change a few parts. So we could normally change the gear. You could put on the buffer, who will give you plus 13, as you see, -7, and we take that from 7, so that's plus 13, and that right there would be a hybrid setup by itself. All right, however, you could go again and you can change another part. Normally you just change like 2 parts. That gives you a good amount of performance, and that keeps your pit time nice and low as is. All right, so as you can see here, our pit time is nice and low. Our setup is now super fast. It has more performance. As you can see here, the numbers add up a lot, especially that buffer in there add a lot of numbers. You don't have to use the buffer. You could go for a part like the cream if you'd like, or whatever part you would like to go through. Just make sure you change only 2 parts, and that would keep your pit time nice and low same way and give your car more performance. All right, so that's basically what a hybrid setup is, and if the hybrid setup is still qualifying in the back of the events for you, then you definitely need to use your fast speed time setup for that event. Once you're qualifying in the back, fast speed time is the best thing to use in the event if you're qualifying in the back. All right, if you're gaining some positions, you're qualifying midfield, or if you're qualifying behind the midfield, which is about 15 to 20 there, then you're not qualifying in the back, then you need to use that setup, hybrid or fast pit time. All right. Now moving on to the next setup, which is going to be our balance setup. Now a balance setup, if you go back to the stock car, a balance setup is basically you trying to get everything within a certain amount of each other, and then you got to use the law of 33 to get the pit time down. All right. So the balance setup, or should we go? No, the law of 33 is gonna take a lot of time. All right, anyways, let's go. All right, so for the balance setup, you want to kind of get your car into nice balance settings when it comes to grip, aero, and power. All right, because you can see, and also reliability, because you can see that the grip, the power, and the aero and the reliability were all at 10 once we started. So once you're going for a balance setup, you want to throw something in there like that to give you that nice, and then we can go over here to give you that nice balance. As you can see right here, this setup is basically a balance setup. As you can see, power is is at 67. Aero, we could give up some of that grip for a little bit more on the aero side, but let's see which part could do that. Give us a little bit more. All right, that's going to take away too much grip, so we need another part to take away a little bit of that grip and give us a little more on aero. All right, so that's not it. So you'll have to go through and look for a part that could give you a little more on aero. I think it's the front wing. Naturally, the front wing has more friendly parts. Alright, so it's all grip here. Alright, so no part is giving us aero except for this one. Alright, and then the aero is going to kind of go off balance, but either way, this is still kind of in balance with the aero. It's still kind of imbalanced. As you can see, power is 66, grip is 66, aero is right at 73, so it's still right about that 66 mark, and you have a reliability of 60. So everything is 60 and above, and they're not passing 75 right there. So all of them is basically in that same little group, and the pit time is 3.37 seconds. Really nice there as well. All right, now the law of 33 that I mentioned in the beginning is where you would take 33% of 100, and you would divide. So what will happen is that I don't think the law of 33 applies in 2021 because there is not a difference in the pit time in 2020. If you go to the 2020 car, let me do that real quick, and then we go to the stock car over on 2020. Let's go to the stock car real quick. I'll show you where the law of 33 came in, but the law of 33 I don't think is anymore, as the 2020 car, the 2021 car is all together. All right, so right here you see that the power was 43 in 2020 and the aero, reliability, and grip was at 12. So that is where the 33 law came in, where we divide we divide the 43 by the 12 right there, something to that effect, and then we'll try to tune it to that range to keep that in line. So whenever we're going to be dividing power, whenever we're tuning aero, grip, and reliability to get it absolutely balanced, we will do the math and we'll divide that overall power by 33, and then we'll match up our grip, aero to that score. All right, so that's where that came in. So that's not a factor there, but yeah, this is how you get your balance setup, which is the third one on the list. And next setup, we're going to go into our final setup, which is the most powerful setup in the game, which is your power level setup. All right, now your power level setup is the strongest setup in the game. How to get your power level setup? You're going to want to get all your pluses, all right, on all there. All right, so you're going to go for the most power, the most pluses on power, the most pluses on grip, the most pluses on aero, the most pluses on reliability. All right, so right here you can see this part is giving us -10. However, we're getting more pluses, so we'll throw that in there. For power level, the padlock is, I think, is my strongest part. So you're going to look for your strongest part that gives you the most pluses. You don't want to focus on a pit time when it comes to power level, because the pit time does not count when it comes to power level. All you need to focus on is stocking that car with the most pluses to give you the maximum amount of loadout you can get. All right, so here we can see So we still have the CX, which is I think this is my setup for power level setup. As you can see, it's kind of still in that balance kind of area. All right. However, it's not exactly balanced, as you could say, balance out, but it is in that area. As you can see, it's from 60 straight up to 78, the highest point in there. And you guys with higher level parts can put more pluses on there, and you get a overall total score. So when you get your, last week I think we did a video, or some day ago, where we did a video on the power level drivers. When you get your power level setup up, with the power level drivers, you're on your maximum amount of setup for loadout for your account, and that is what you're going to use to get the best results in events. All right, so that's basically it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys let me know down in the comment, how did this video work for you. Also, use code word massive value for this one. Let me know down in the comments that you made it to this portion of the video, and remember to smash that like button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.